using this book, the Allotment Garden Guide by Twigs Way, and we're up to July, which is this bit here. And I'm going to read to you what it says for July. You all enjoyed so much me reading it to you last week from June and sharing my lovely story of the Chinese lady. I think her name was Mo. I can't remember, but I did talk to you about her and her massively stinky freezer method of fertilising and watering her garden. So we're going to see what we can come up with today out of July. So July was the make or break month, in the words of the guide. What you do or fail to do this month will determine how well or how badly off your family will be for greens in the lean period from next February onwards. There was to be no post-VE Day slacking. Winter greens such as spinach beet, Brussels and spring cabbages were still the watchword. The Place Safe gardener was advised to carry on following the ministry's cropping plan issued at the break of the war as Grow More Bulletin number 1, and going strong ever since through all its D-Day and victory guises. The guide has never bothered reproducing the plan itself, as literally millions of copies had been made available in previous 5 years. Watering, one of the main tasks for the gardener in a good summer, could only be recommended cautiously in the guide. The comment on page 2, assuming the water supply situation is reasonably good, which it is here thankfully because we're on spring water, so we never run out of water. I believe in all the time that the previous gentleman was here, there was never a water shortage here. They never ran out. But I don't try to take advantage of that because our water supply has to do every house in the valley. All the houses that are owned by the estate anyway. There's about 10 houses on that run. So I don't want to take advantage, take the mick as they say, find that I end up using all the water and nobody else has any. So you've got to be careful, you've got to be cautious with the water. And that's why mulching is good, because if you mulch the surface of the soil either with leaves like I've done, and I've shown you in a previous video how to conserve water, you can just save the amount of watering that you have to do. And I'm going to do that on my flower beds for next summer because my flower beds have really suffered this year. My roses have struggled, and it's just simply because we've had very little rain. The best month of rain that we had was February, and since then we've had very little. I do the rain gauge next door, so I know exactly how much water we get here, and we've had less than 100 millimetres of rain in March, April, May and June. So, and July is coming up to being about the same as well. I think we had 122 in May, but other than that, it's been extremely dry. So just to be cautious of the amount of water that you do use. Don't overwater your flowers, don't overwater your vegetables, and don't water in the height of the sun. Make sure you do it first thing in the morning or in the evening when the weather's cooler. I did all mine last night. I haven't done the flower garden because it's going to take me about half a day to do my flower garden properly. So just not going to happen. Just not going to happen. Anyway, the water supply could be sporadic because not every plot had a water supply. We were very lucky on the last allotment that I had because we had proper mains water and we could use hose pipes. So I had about a 50-metre run hose pipe that did from the tap all the way to my garden. So yeah, we had to share the water, but we didn't pay for the water because that was included in the rent. But some plots don't have that luxury. Some plots don't have water and you have to try and conserve water from water butts from the shed roof if you have a shed. If not, tie a piece of string onto a tree branch, pop a bucket underneath, and then as it rains, all that water will trickle down the string or the rope and go into your bucket. So you can always find ways of conserving water. Another method is condensation. Try and make yourself a little condensation tent with clear plastic and a bucket underneath, and as the condensation from a bit of water in the bucket to create the condensation in the first place, and then that will accumulate on the plastic and drip into your bucket and you can gather water that way. I think I did that as a science experiment in school. So there's always ways in which you can get water to your vegetables, but you just sometimes have to be creative in your thinking. And it made me carry a bottle of water up to your allotment every time you go. even through the winter, and just fill up a water butt with the water when you take it. If you go in your car, get a few bottles of water, maybe a couple of carry things that you have for when you go on holiday camping, fill them with water and fill a water butt when you get to the allotment. And then through the summer, then you'll have some water, and just keep doing that through the summer. There's always ways to get water. It says sites in existence before the war or set up with support of large suburban councils might have standpipes or troughs, but smaller sites in rural or urban areas or in private parks or country house grounds might not have any access to water. The weather during the war years was not often being hot or dry enough to necessitate sustained periods of watering. The summer of 1945 was in fact marked by too much rain. So make the most of the rain, try and harvest what you can in buckets, and try and water your garden that way. Old Gordon used to do that. He didn't have a hose pipe. You just used to have buckets around the garden, use a little cup and just water sparingly so the plant doesn't become dependent on you but doesn't dry out. So yeah, it says the summer looks out from her brazen tower through the flashing bars of June.